Offensive Player of the Year, Triple Crown, Super Bowl MVP, the single greatest wide receiver season ever, and it belongs to Cooper Kupp. The LA Rams capped off an impressive season filled with big trades and free agency signings with a Super Bowl win at home. And yet, the biggest storyline other than, of course, the Super Bowl wasn't Aaron Donald, wasn't Odell Beckham, Von Miller, or even Matthew Stafford, who was probably their biggest acquisition this offseason. It was Cooper Kupp's remarkable season. And whether you're a fantasy owner, a casual fan, or an NFL analyst, this season clearly stands out as one of, if not the single greatest receiving season in NFL history. I mean, we're talking 145 receptions, over 1,900 yards, 16 touchdowns. These are accomplishments we only have seen a handful of times by some of the best receivers in NFL history, guys like Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, Calvin Johnson, Megatron, right? And even those guys, most of the time, when you see a receiving season of that caliber, you're also not seeing that same guy post a top 10 catch percentage in the league like Cooper Kupp did. 75% catch percentage, 145 receptions, that's absurd. And as much as I would love to just ramble about Cooper Kupp's stats all day, I really can't because his advanced analytics really aren't even that good. They're pretty average. I wouldn't say they're bad. But when you look at like NFL Next Gen stats, he doesn't get pressed all the time, doesn't get a billion yards of separation. He doesn't have the most air yards or whatever. He just wins a lot. And I know that's weird to say about receivers. We often hear that terminology used with quarterbacks, but he really does just win, and he wins most of his reps. So if you want to understand the context behind Cooper Kupp's ludicrous stats, you can't look in the advanced analytics. You have to look on film. You have to watch him play to understand him. And I'm going to do my best job defending Cooper Kupp because he was labeled as a lot of things this year. Other than being just a great receiver, he was labeled as things like a McVay merchant, a slot merchant, and it would be valid if he hadn't posted one of the 2 or 3 best receiving seasons ever. It really does kind of kill the whole anti-Cooper Kupp narrative when he has over 1,900 yards and 16 touchdowns on 75% catch percentage. And, I could understand the criticism if it was like Terrell Pryor when he had that miscellaneous 1,000-yard season. Seasons like that, I can understand criticism behind. But a season like Cooper Kupp's doesn't happen to just anyone. You have to be really good in order to post those kind of numbers. So I will not, in good faith, allow Cooper Kupp's season to be tarnished by slander when it was so prolific. Now, I've taken the liberty of compiling some of Cooper Kupp's route trees from this season so that we can get an idea of where exactly he is winning on the football field. And newsflash, and as it might be a surprise to some of you, it's pretty much everywhere. Whether it be deep, short, in-breaking, out-breaking, run after the catch, double moves, whatever, Cooper Kupp just finds ways to win his rep pretty much every single time. And I know the joke for a guy like Cooper Kupp is always just a smart, hard-working guy, lots of grit. But unironically, I do think that is an accurate way to describe Cooper Kupp. Being a smart player, I think, is the hallmark of being an elite player in any sport or really any profession. And everyone knows that to be true with quarterbacks. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, even going deep into their career as they're getting older, you still see them have success because of how smart they are. But that same logic applies to literally every position in the NFL. It is so hard to sustain high-level success in the NFL, or again, in any profession, unless you have an elite understanding of what you're doing and what everyone else is doing. And it's Cooper Kupp's deep understanding of the game of football that allows him to be as successful as he was this season. In particular, I think one of the big things that Cooper Kupp does, and defenses hate it, is he takes away their ability to run too high all the time, because that's what defenses want to do, to take away the deep ball. It's what they've been doing against the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Bills, all these teams with incredible quarterbacks with massive arms that can throw it 1 billion yards, and they have a receiver that can just run under it. How do you beat that? You go 2 high safeties, cover 2, cover 4, cover 6, stuff like that. Cooper Kupp does a really good job of sitting in space, finding the hole in the zone, and basically negating any ability to run 2 high safeties. Not every team, as a matter of fact, most teams I would say do not have a receiver like that, but the Rams, of course, do in Cooper Kupp. The Super Bowl, in particular, I thought was really interesting. And throughout the entire playoffs, Cooper Kupp was phenomenal. I thought that should have, for sure, establish that, okay, this guy's an elite receiver. He's going against some of the best defenses in football, and he's still, being phenomenal. But in the Super Bowl, I remember the Bengals were running a lot of single high, lots of cover 3, cover 1 looks. And my initial thought was, why in the world would you do that when you know Van Jefferson's, a pretty good receiver, and you know that Odell Beckham can take the top off of you? And that's exactly what we saw. They went single high, near the red zone, and the Rams scored a touchdown because of it. But then as I'm doing research for this video, it clicked. They were willing, especially once Odell got hurt, the Bengals were more than willing to let Van Jefferson beat them. But they were not going to get beat by just sitting in cover 2 or cover 4 and letting Cooper Kupp, dice them up. And eventually he did anyway, because he is just that good. But they're like, if we can find a way to, take away what Cooper Kupp loves, then we're going to do that. But ultimately, when the game was on the line, when they needed big plays, Cooper Kupp proved that he isn't just a gadget, that he can go out there and make high-level plays, big plays, and he just knows where to be. That really is what it comes down to. He knows where to be, he knows positioning, he knows leverage, and because of that, he wins so many of his reps at such a high level. The Cooper Kupp slander was a little much this year, especially when you consider that the list of guys who have done what Cooper Kupp did this year, very small. The list of receivers that have won Super Bowl MVP, very small. The list of receivers that have had a triple crown, very small. The list of receivers that have had a triple crown and have had at least a 70% catch percentage, one, and it's Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is him. I'm sorry, and if you disagree, you're wrong. I know some people say Aaron Donald deserves Super Bowl MVP. No, he didn't. Aaron Donald played a good game, but Odell Beckham went down. Van Jefferson was non-existent. That offense couldn't do anything. If it wasn't for Cooper Kupp, they would have absolutely lost that game. I put everything on that. All right, I'm done with my little rant. Cooper Kupp, point blank period, is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. He had the greatest receiving season ever. Will he replicate that next year? Probably not. But as of now, as it stands, he's a top 5 receiver, and he deserves that respect at least. What's up, everybody? Blaiden here from Stay Hot. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed it, I really would appreciate it if you subscribed, left a like, a comment, let us know how we did. We're going to have another podcast episode dropping Friday morning. And, until next time, again, as always, from Lemon Boy, catch you on the flippity flop.